All right, we are now live. Shout out to everybody waiting. Shout out to everybody waiting in the chat.
Yeah.
We are about to make history tonight. We are about to shift the paradigm tonight. We're about to raise the frequency, raise the consciousness. Oh yeah, okay. Here go my brother Rod. All right, we are officially all here. All right, yeah, I'm gonna let everybody gather in the room. I'm gonna let everybody get comfortable. Make sure you hit the like button. We're about to start in a second. Let me run a commercial for my brother Billy Carson. You know, the brother got the awards coming up. So let's start out. Let me run the commercial for my brother. Then we're gonna get started tonight and have a good time. All right, family. Be back in about 1 minute. Get comfortable. Tell your friends. Share the link of this video. Tell your friends it's going down tonight. We're gonna have when we learn, we have a good time. So we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna do a lot of learning tonight. Be right back, family.
Hey everyone, it's Billy Carson, aka Forbidden Knowledge. I am thrilled to introduce to you an extraordinary weekend event happening right here in Miami, Florida on August 3rd and 4th. It's none other than the second annual Forbidden Conscious Awards weekend. After the tremendous success of last year's event with over 1,200 attendees from around the globe, we knew we had to make this year's event even more spectacular. On Saturday, we have a captivating conference lined up featuring world-renowned speakers such as Muhammad Ibrahim, Merkaba 13, Robert Grant, Billy Carson, and a women's panel hosted by Elizabeth Carson. Following the conference, we'll set sail for a VIP yacht cruise at sunset where you'll have the chance to mingle with your favorite nominees and celebrity guests, all hosted by yours truly, Billy Carson. On Sunday, August 4th, kicks off with a Forbidden Knowledge book publishing signing event, followed by the highly anticipated second annual Forbidden Conscious Awards. This is a red carpet affair, so come dressed to impress. Remember last year we surprised a lucky guest with an Audi A4 during the awards, and this year we're upping the ante with a chance to win a Mercedes-Benz. So make sure you secure your tickets early. This event is sure to sell out quickly. I cannot wait to see each and every one of you there for what promises to be an unforgettable weekend.
All right. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome back to the platform BDell,
Peace.
Billy Carson, Rod Hayes, and Sharif Bey. Welcome back, my brothers. Welcome back.
All right. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Peace, brother Rick. Peace to the brothers on the panel. I'm happy to see y'all. My big brother Billy, my big little brother.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. We in year so-called 2024 on so-called planet Earth. I don't know what I've done heard so many names, but I want to say it's a pleasure sharing this stage with y'all, raising the consciousness of humanity with y'all, and it's a pleasure just having this role, man. This shit is fun. We obviously are all passionate about it. That's what makes us who we are. The people could feel it and see it in us. And let's just do this thing till we can't do it no more, man. We know we're immortal. After this thing is over, we go on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Let's have fun while we down here, y'all. Let's enjoy this. Thank you, y'all. To all of y'all. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, BDell, you've been tearing up the streets over there with that knowledge, brother. I've been watching you, man. I've been telling y'all I don't gotta explain it. BDell explained it already.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the edification out the way I can, man. Trying to merge in with the modern day knowledge and everything that was told in the past. Just trying to make it make sense for everybody.
Yeah,
indeed. This is beautiful. We got so many different generations on the panel. And I just can't wait to start the show. To start out with, the name of the show is Alien Frequencies. I talked to all of y'all and explained the basis of what I want to talk. This show is almost like a part two. When Billy and Rod Hayes did a show called Earth Rover, and I wanted to continue that. That conversation and elaborate it on even more, because I think that it's important for us to, and just what works for me personally, and I think it will work for humanity in general, is we've been taught so long to look at ourselves as individual egos. And sometimes that could be lonely when it comes to being the best version of yourself But when you look at yourself like an antenna consciousness instead of ego-based consciousness, you understand that you have access to eternity and infinity. Now, having access to eternity and to infinity, because all you got to do is pick up on that broadcast, pick up on that signal, pick up on that wave, pick up on that frequency. If you truly believe that, it's pure ecstasy. While you're doing it, it's not boring, it's pure ecstasy while you're doing it, because it's the funnest shit in the world. You're accessing infinity. All the stuff you see in the movies, all the stuff you see reading the books, the comic books, you're accessing that at will if you're able to tap into this. This ain't for the faint of heart. This ain't for the weak. This knowledge was guarded for years for a purpose. It takes a lot of work to put into this to get to the level of where some of these gentlemen are at right here on the platform. And I think that we all could get there, whether it's this lifetime or the next one. But I think we're all headed there for the mere fact that we are watching this broadcast right now. With that being said, want to start out. Oh man. When it comes to antenna consciousness, and it comes to us tapping into certain frequencies, we hear so many different things about brainwave states. And the brother Sharif, he does Qigong. He's a Qigong instructor. All of you, Billy teaches about this. All of you teach about breathing in the brainwave states. And you can tap into different frequencies based on your breathing. When you slow down your breath, it's either alpha, beta, gamma, whatever the brainwave states is. What I want to ask you is, since we're learning about the breathing in the brainwave states, and we're talking about the brain being an antenna, how much of a factor does, if we're slowing down the breath, changing our frequency, how much of a factor is slowing down our blinking? Is the blinking just important, just as important of a factor as breathing when it comes to tapping in, when it comes to being an antenna, and when it comes to channeling information?
So,
Well, I mean, go ahead, Rod.
So the first thing you mentioned is the breathing. All machines, whether they're organic or inorganic, have to breathe. They have to. Your car, if you clog up the air filter, it will suffocate the car. It's going to turn off. Your lawnmower, if your muffler get clogged up where it can't breathe, it's going to turn off. The breath is the actualization of spirit in the organism of the physiology of the self. As far as the blinking go, that's what you call a autonomic response. It happens on its own, and it's normally other. Why we blink. And a lot of times we blink to clear debris from the eyes and to make sure that the eyes is clear to see what we're looking at. But we also have different causes, things that are outside of the regular process of blinking that would make us blink. But I don't know if that's related to the download of information. But when you downloading information, sometimes your rapid eye movement while you wide awake causes you to go through a rapid blinking to process energy. So you're going into the dark, back to the light, back to the dark, back to the light in oscillation. But the breath is most critical.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a whole YouTube account and TikTok account dedicated to counting my blinks. So,
you're right.
So these people count how many times I blink when I'm, I think even Donnie Arcade wrote a song and there's a verse in there about the fact that I'm not blinking a lot. But I think it has a lot to do with getting into the zone. I mean, obviously, just the breath work is incredible, because the breath work, depending on the pattern of the breath work and the type of meditation you're doing with the meditative breath work, will release DMT from your pineal gland. Right. And so that DMT, because the body begins to think, the breath work tricks the body into believing that it's going to a mortal state. And that triggers the release of DMT. When people say, what plant medicines do you do? I don't do any plant medicines. Right. If I want to go to hyperspace, I just do breath work meditations, and it'll get me there. And I don't have to go to the jungles of Cambodia or Peru and sit with a sage master and try to figure out, how to take this medicine, I can do it in the safety of my own home, and I don't have to worry about getting, waking up in the bottom of a doggone hole in the ground somewhere with somebody trying to take my organs. so I do it in my own house through breath work. But that DMT then is released from the pineal gland. Now, with the blinking, obviously, there's several reasons why a human avatar body needs to blink. Obviously, to clean the eye. Sometimes if a person doesn't blink that much, it's a sign of dopamine or a lack of dopamine, I think it is. But if you're really hyper-focused and you're in the zone, it's been known to show that people in that zone, they tend to blink a lot less than somebody that's not in the zone. Yeah. Okay, I know Dr. B likes to say that blinking sometimes resets the program. So when somebody's blinking too many times, it's kind of like they're resetting over and over again.
He says it's like changing the channel, Billy.
Changing the channel, right? That's what he says. Changing the channel, correct? Changing the channel. Yeah. And so you're blinking too much, all of a sudden because there's so many distractions and things going on, and they can't stay focused on one thing. It's almost like somebody maybe having ADHD or something like that, consciously or spiritually. And so I do notice that when I'm in the real true zone, I blink a lot less than when I'm not. And so maybe that has something to do with it, But like I say, the breathwork meditation combined with hyper focus, the release of the DMT, it could put you in a state where, man, you could achieve just about anything. I've done presentations where I've talked about this before. I've done presentations where I felt like I was outside of myself, and I could see myself talking to the people, and I was able to even observe myself and even learn from what I was saying.
Yes.
And so when in that state, it's like this hyper state. It's this higher level, this transcendental state is a higher level. It's that real meditative state. Just like playing basketball is a meditation. That's why Michael Jordan was untouchable. Just like doing woodwork or any other hobby becomes a meditation, because those things take you into a higher state. You get into that specific zone, and when you're in that zone, you can have an out of body experience and still accomplish the task at hand. And so I think it has a lot to do with that.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to speak to that really quick. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, it's so powerful. This is my first time, being in everyone's space here, and truth is but one. I give honor to what's been said already with everyone, because it resonates with what I'm about to say. In our particular tradition, right? The blinking, or the blinking less, as what Billy Carson just said, the blinking less indicates a shift in perception. So, you have the brain, the physical brain, sure, but then you have consciousness, which is separate from the brain. And then perception, which is the willful direction of the consciousness, right? So in meditation's exercise, people, it's weightlifting for the consciousness. It's weightlifting for the perception. It's not just, I just relax and light some incense and float on a cloud and see Buddha. It's not that at all. It's actual work. It's exercise. And so the for us in our tradition, the lessening of the blinking represents an indicator of the shifting of the perception.
Excellent. BDell, you want to?
Yeah. Well, from a metaphysical standpoint, the eyes are basically neurologically connected to the brain. So when you activate the neuroendocrine transducer, which is also connected to the olfactory nerve, that's when you're able to collapse time, because you're able to master time by mastering your breath. So when you're able to master your breath, you're able to manipulate the space-time continuum. So that's why a lot of times when you focus and your heart is basically into something, you lose track of time. Anything that you love doing, anything that's connected to your purpose, you basically manipulate that fraction of time. And that's all linked to the framework of consciousness in itself.
In the Bible, there's the image, the iconography, the image of, or the symbol of the dove, representing the Holy Spirit or the holy breath. Why a dove? Because like in our tradition in Qigong, the breath is the interface connecting the physical self with the non-physical self.
Excellent.
Nice.
Beautiful. Go right.
Dr. Carson mentioned the zone. They've done extensive research on people in the zone, athletes and high performing scientists, and they all found that this zone state is the state where you can perform the function at the highest possible levels without having to use like performance enhancing drugs and stuff like that. But there's a book called The Zone that talks about it. And it's a very, very good science to research.
Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Rod, you mentioned athletes. A little while ago, Billy mentioned Michael Jordan. He referenced Michael Jordan. I want to talk about. I'm gonna use them as Michael Jordan as example real quick. But before I do, we're entering a new paradigm. We're entering a new era. Some people call it the golden age. Some people call it the age of Aquarius. And things are different in the age of Aquarius than they were in the age of Pisces. Now we're talking about being an antenna, channeling certain energies, programming our genes, programming our DNA, all of that good stuff. One of the things, if you in the so-called New Age information, the New Age community, they say is the smile. Smiling reprograms your genes. Smiling activates certain chemicals. It's like a whole chemistry that happens the more you smile. So the age of Pisces, we've seen a lot of people, whenever people take pictures, they smile. Everybody is taught to smile. Now, what I noticed is that, you know, when we're talking about be the best version of yourself, be the greatest or the best, I notice when I see the greatest or the best in their best frequency, like after they just did something incredible, absolutely amazing, this is what I noticed, and I want to share this with y'all because we're talking about channeling certain frequencies, right? So Billy mentioned Michael Jordan. So when Michael Jordan does something absolutely magnificent, I mean, this is the GOAT. Before we go to Michael Jordan, let me show this entity. Entity. Now we know this entity is Best.
Best.
Yes. So he got his tongue out, right? So when Michael Jordan does something absolutely amazing, Michael Jordan has his tongue out. LeBron James has his tongue out. They're not smart. They have their tongue out. Kobe Bryant has his tongue out. You know what I'm saying? So my question is, what is it about that picture of Best and the Michael Jordan, and the list goes on and on and on. When people are in their element, they're not. They're like they're like a beast. So talk to me about what is that challenge? Why are these gentlemen doing that? Talk to me about that particular sacred geometry that's going on at that particular time, the ecstasy that they're feeling, and what is that doing, metaphysically, spiritually speaking?
So, you ever heard of Eid Mubarak?
No, sir. You got to explain that to me.
Eid Mubarak is the Islamic breaking of the fast ceremony. It don't come from Islam. Okay. It's written in the Book of the Coming Forth by Day, misnomered as the Book of the Dead. When your tongue is out, you opening up in your larynx, you're opening up your pathway for the more air intake that allows you to get more oxygen into the system while it's moving in what they call a hyper state.
Yeah.
So in the opening of the mouth ceremony, the first thing you say is to stick your tongue out. So I don't think it's coincidence that you see greatness and then you see these people with their tongue out. Yeah, remember, it ain't just athletes, rock and roll stars.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Right. And actors and other entertainers, they all put to get more breath in order to assimilate more spirit energy. You require a higher assimilation of oxygen, carbon dioxide intake and exchange. In other words, you telling the machine, we finna go from being a 57 Chevy to a Corvette. We finna go from riding around in a luxury vehicle to a high performance sports vehicle because I need more oxygen. When you go back to the example I gave earlier about a car being able to breathe, they got something called overhead cams that allow the car to take in more oxygen to allow the fuel to combust at a much faster rate to allow more power to get to the engine. None of that is coincidence. It's all part of the same physiological study of the human body applied to mechanics of non-organic mechanical materials.
True.
I knew I was gonna love this, man. Go ahead. knew I was gonna love this one.
Yeah. When you're smiling, you're basically also tapping into the program code in the body. So when you achieve something, you achieve a certain level of greatness, or you are achieving something at a very high level, and it triggers this programming code that releases into the body. And that programming code is known as hormones. Mm-hmm. Hormones for the avatar body are the programming code. Just like we have a computer with a microprocessor and it runs code on the chip. Well, the same way it works in the same way in the body. The brain says, okay, sends a signal out, and then says, okay, secrete these hormones in the body. We're talking about endorphins. We're talking about dopamine, serotonin, and basically some other brain chemicals that allow you to get a special level of feeling and sensation, which help take you to even another level. Because if you look at it like we're in a video game, which I really believe we are, to be honest with you, if you remember Donkey Kong, you started at the base level. You jump over the barrels and everything else. You have to overcome all these obstacles. And then once you do that, you move to the second level. By the time you get to the second level, if you get past that second level, you like right to the end of the second level. Now you're getting into that zone. And now you're getting these hormones are being released, these codes being released in the body, telling you you're doing a great job. You're doing phenomenal. You're excellent. You're a beast. You're amazing. It's almost like digital programming of affirmations going directly into the body on the genetic and cellular level, sending these codes even directly into the cell saying, you're the best. You're awesome. You're a king. You're great. You're this, you're that. And that gives you the encouragement biologically to continue to pursue and persist even further and overcome even more obstacles. And so that's what I see with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, when it comes to my perspective, remember I told you I was an engineer. So everything when it comes to westernized technology is based upon the doctrine of signatures of who we are neurologically and genetically. So in engineering, you have this a thermoformer, which is basically an extruder. And the extruder has, like 7 different chambers. And those chambers in itself creates class types of discharges within the machine, which is also connected to the emulation of the body. So a lot of times when you're happy, when you're elated, when you just dunked on somebody, when you did something that was, very spectacular, that same phenomenon happens in the body. It releases a discharge. And that discharge in itself basically puts the endocrine system in alignment to where you're able to tap into that Zohar body, which is your higher self. So that higher self is, which is also connected to your purpose and things of that nature. So that's my perspective on that.
Excellent.
Nice.
In the in part of our tradition, which in this particular branch of it is called the Afro-Atlantean tradition. We've spoken about it before, right? Well, let's look at it this way. First and foremost, we know that the phallus, right, is magical in the sense that it represents what? It represents bringing something into manifestation of the creative force, right? Mm-hmm. When you look at your spine, which in this sense would be like a wand or an equal sign, then in our tradition, we also have the cerebral phallus. So a higher level of creation. And so the hot point in our particular system for the physical phallus is this symbol. The hot point for the cerebral phallus, or the base of the tongue, is this symbol. So this is water modified by fire, or the sun in Cancer. This is fire modified by water. It's exact opposite on the other end of the spot.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh man, see, when I ask an outrageous question like that, I love when I get these. You hear the scientific answers to an outrage. Come on, we talking about somebody sticking their tongue out. And did you hear what I just got? Listen, let me just tell you something. This is just a glimpse of what's going to happen at the Gathering of the Masters. Just to let y'all know, even though Billy's not going to be there because he got another he got the Anunnaki premiere, and I'm not sure about Rod, but the unity of consciousness is going to be in full effect. Where it's available on live stream right now. Let me put the link in the chat. If you would like to attend the gathering of the man, BDell will be there. Sharif will be there. Got to talk to Rod Hayes, but brother Yaki, Yaki Awaken, so many.
Dr. B.
Yeah,
Dr.
Dr.
B.
Serious, I see the Duke of Tears, Queen of Ford, Dr. Jew Pukram, Sister Myra. I mean, the list goes on. It's a long list, y'all. But this is an example of what y'all gonna get in August at the Gathering of the Masters. I'm loving this unity. I love what Kendrick Lamar did on stage when he brought the Bloods and the Crips on stage, and I want to duplicate that spiritually in August at the Gathering of the Masters. It's a beautiful thing. I see, like, I want that to be the theme of 2024, where the spirit realm as well as the physical, the gangsters, everybody was able to have some type of unification, because they not like us.
Not like us.
Hey,
Rich, can I say something to that really quick?
Yeah, good. But real quick, Sharif. Yeah, but before Sharif talk, the link is in the chat, family. Make sure you get your live stream tickets. It's already sold out, the venue, but be there virtually. Don't miss this opportunity. It's going to be absolutely amazing, family. Link is in the chat. Go ahead, Sharif. Go ahead,
Penny, brother Rich, Penny.
But
yeah, got you.
Brother Rich, to your point, to the point that you just made, we were talking earlier off camera. Our brother Billy Carson has been a part of the big network, the Gaia network, right? And he outgrew it, and we can talk about, that why or whatever. But the point I wanted to make is this: the narrative moving forward, what we're talking about now, what you see broadcast all over the Gaia network, that's old world tech. That's our forefathers. You see what I'm saying? Now, it's also the hereafter. It's also post-disclosure reality. You see what I'm saying? But it can't fully take effect in the world until the lowest rung of humanity is lifted up. When you lift something up, you lift it up from the bottom, right? Those people with the Gaia network, respectfully, are speaking to our narrative. We're the walking, talking exigent circumstances. That's our narrative. We need to be the walking, talking Gaia network.
Yeah.
Hey, brother Sharif, since you brought it up, can you finish this statement? You are what your ancestors were.
Without a doubt or contradiction.
Okay. Brother Rich, I wanted to say one thing. We brought up Dr. B Serious a couple times, and it wouldn't be fitting if we didn't touch on a little bit of the love energy. Because if you remember on the playground, when you see a girl you like, you lick your tongue out at her. When you got a little older and you became a man and you seen a lady and you wanted her to know that you had a special service, you licked your tongue out at her.
That's facts.
That's facts.
When you playing with your wife and y'all having fun across the room, y'all lick your tongue out at each other. Nah, right? The love energy gonna make your tongue move, whether it's gonna speak the truth or bring about pleasure. That love energy is gonna come across that tongue one way or the other.
There you go.
So in Kama Sutra, there is a ritual for creating a full circuit during sexual union where the man places his tongue in the roof of his partner's mouth while she straddled him to complete the circuit. That's not just coincidence. The tongue is way more powerful than we could possibly imagine, because across that tongue comes words to heal, kill, and what? Sharif?
Dave.
The heal, to kill, and destroy, and to build. All of that can come across the tongue, and how the tongue relays it determines how it's going to manifest in the physical world. So when you go talk to all of the spiritual teachers around the world, they tell you speak a thing into existence. You can't speak if you ain't got no tongue.
That's true. That's right.
Shout out to Dr. B Serious. I just wanted to get his input in on this.
No, indeed.
Dr. B. Yeah.
Indeed. And you're mentioning this is something that's interesting. So we're talking about being antennas and grounding higher dimensional information, tapping into high dimensional information. Some people call the brain a hyperdimensional antenna. Rod Hayes just mentioned, just alluded to, I guess some might call it sexual tantra. There's a lot of talk about sex magic in the new age conscious, circuit online community. The question I have is that if sexual energy is as powerful as they say it is, when I look at, let's say I look at Nikola Tesla, just by himself in a room, look at one of the brilliant minds ever in America, George Washington Carver. He got castrated. The brother got castrated. Mad inventions. He contributed to the automobile industry, the food industry, so many different industries. When you look at movies like Minority Report, and you have how you got the Sibyls, they had the precogs in Minority Report. The precogs who was tapped in, but I believe they was castrated. And something in antiquity, what's the eunuchs or something like that? It seems like when they appoint somebody a spiritual position and they have to tap into the spiritual information, they chop off the nigga soul pole. His soul pole is gone. So what's the deal with? Because if sex magic, you're tapping in. Why are they chopping off the phallus so much? And they want you to tap into this spiritual information. They want you to be this grand antenna.
Spirit energy and sex energy are fraternal twins. One goes up, the other comes down. But if you castrate the soul pole, the energy can only flow up. There's nothing to draw it down. Right. So you looking at artificially creating a Sibyl in a male gender. So they tapping into higher consciousness because the sex energy gonna get used one way or the other by the law of use. So if you don't have the physical equipment to express it physically, the only other outlet is a spiritual and intellectual pursuit. You got to have an outlet for that energy or you will implode or spontaneously combust.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
No, Rod hit it right on the head. That's kind of really where I was going with it. If you look at priests, right? Yeah. Monks. Yeah. I mean, you see this thing where it's, you can't have sex. They're not supposed to, at least.
Right.
Yeah. We know that don't happen exactly. But where does that all come from? That all comes from ancient knowledge, ancient wisdom. Look at the Dogon tribe in Mali, Africa. They have one wisdom keeper that gets knowledge given to him that has been passed down verbally and taught to him for eons. That knowledge came from the Nomo. According to the Dogons, the Nomo came from Sirius B, a star that ran out of fuel, became a white dwarf, and we couldn't detect it with our modern technology until just a few decades ago, but we know it's there now, that they were right this whole time. And where did they get the knowledge of Sirius B? They said they got it from the Nomo, people that came from the heaven to earth and gave them this knowledge of not only Sirius B and its trinary star system, but they also gave the knowledge of star alignments, when to harvest, when to not harvest, what the sizes, shapes, and colors of the planets are inside of our solar system, and all the knowledge of actually, doing specific rituals that will give them the access to abundance. And this all came from these beings called the Nomo. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because the wisdom keeper of this knowledge goes upon his entire life. He can't be touched by a man or a woman at all. He must be kept away in this sacred area, usually like a temple area that they have there. And of course, no sex whatsoever. Sex is forbidden. So if he's touched, then he's instantly got to be killed and the next person will take over from there. Why is this? It's the same thing that Rod Hayes was just talking about. We're talking about an antenna one way. We're talking about tapping into higher spiritual and intellectual knowledge because the energy has nowhere else to go. There's no distraction to the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra has been deactivated. So now everything is going to the crown chakra. And that's why they do this.
Wow.
And sidebar, every one of these priests is dressed in a dress for a reason. And all of them, from the Dalai Lama to the Pope, all of them wearing dresses because they imitating the divine feminine oracles of days gone by. That's not haphazard. That's done by willful intent.
It's not a coincidence, you're saying. Okay.
No.
In our tradition, first of all, I give honor to what was said by both my brother Rod Hayes and brother Billy Carson, and I agree. You know, the principle is exactly the same. And in our tradition, the idea is to do it voluntary. And in doing it voluntary requires some preliminary shifting of perception. One of those is this: knowing the difference between orgasm and ejaculation. For the man, ejaculation ends orgasm. If the objective is to turn water into steam, what sense does it make to dump the water out of the pot the moment it begins to boil? You see? So the idea is to maintain it. It's alchemical transformation. This is how we make water go up and not down. And so the alchemical, analogy for the raw sexual force is water. And the idea is to return water to its source, for water to go up. That is what is talked about when Jesus said, just as Moses raised the serpent in the wilderness, so shall the Son of Man be raised.
Right.
That's what that's speaking to. Okay. The Taoists call it learning to fly without wings, or learning to go to heaven without wings. But now we want to do it voluntarily without chopping and doing any chopping. But now that's called dual cultivation. What is the danger? You have the temptation. See?
Facts.
You have the temptation, right? So there's pros and cons. The pros are purposeful accelerated evolution within a single incarnation.
Right.
The downside is there's the temptation to plunge yourself into hell. You see what I'm saying?
Which is the root chakra.
Yep.
Correct.
Excellent.
Well, from my perspective, your sexual energy is connected to your magnetism. So as I was telling you before, God is the highest extension of the mind, which uses elements and matter to express itself. So when you're able to absorb and not spill your cup of Hermes to where you're not leaking out your sexual energy, this is where you're able to create not just on an external level, but on an internal level. Right. Meaning that you understand the transmutation process by using your sexual energy as an alchemical source to turn nothing to something. That's just basically the magical process, but it's all based on the fact that you have to go through a process of self-realization. That self-realization is connected to your God frequency or the God mind when you're talking about the Christ consciousness or the spirit of Melchizedek. All that is basically esoterically connected to your sexual power.
Indeed.
Earlier, Brother Rich, I mentioned the opening of the mouth ceremony and the breaking of the fast in Islam. This is why fasting is prescribed for anybody in any priesthood on earth, because by learning to control your appetite is learning to control all of what's known as your base desires, right? Including your sexual desires. Brother Sharif was talking about the temptation. Without the temptation, you don't know how strong you is, but you have to develop yourself to be prepared for the temptation you're about to face. And we use fasting from the food in order to prepare us to be resistant to the sexual temptation and other lower base temptations.
Indeed.
Yeah. Real quick, Richard, I just want to add one quick thing before you go on.
Yes, sir.
One thing that I do in business, I meet people for business all the time, because I collaborate with a lot of entrepreneurs all around the world.
Yeah.
And if it's the first time of me meeting somebody in person, I've had a few Zooms or whatever, and now we're going to meet in person. If I have control over the location, I meet them in locations where there's a lot of people walking around, and quite possibly a lot of women walking around. This is a thing that I do. My wife knows about this. I'll go to the Ritz-Carlton where we had met those people. We flew in town for the God Power winners. So we went with the meet and greet we did. Yeah. I'll meet them there on the patio where all these women are walking around in bathing suits and everything else, because I'm doing business with this guy. I want to find out, does he have his mind in check? Does he have his phallus in check? Because if he's on a rubber neck, every time I turn around, he's looking, he's bending his neck. We can't focus on the business meeting because all he can do is talk about this woman and that woman and this woman and that woman. I don't want to do business with him because I already know that man, his phallus is going to lead him to destruction. He got his path, instead of going up, his path of energy is going down, and everything he touches is going to turn to pot. Because why? He has no focus. He's not controlling his crown. He has no way to control himself. The manly urges or the mortal urges, he can't control it. And when I find that out, I find my way to work my way out of that deal, out of that situation. And that person usually will never hear from me ever again.
Wow, amazing business advice, fellas. I advise y'all should be taking notes on that. I seen a sister, a female wrote earlier. What does this conversation have to do with women? This is about women and men. This is not a gender based. Don't get sidetracked because it's all men on the panel. This is for everybody. This has absolutely nothing to do with one particular gender. Sharif, go ahead, my brother.
Could I speak to that? Like when we're talking about sexual transmutation or the spiritualization of the God force, right? If we're talking about spiritualization, it happens for both men and women. It just happens differently. So follow me. The average male, the average man, right, into a single ejaculation, anywhere up to 700 million sperm cells. So we're talking one ejaculation. It could if each sperm cell fertilized an egg, one ejaculation could repopulate the entire United States.
Sure.
That's a lot of power. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
The positive to that is that we can choose to lose it at will. Women, their loss is regulated every 28 days. But what's the positive on that end? The positive is they don't lose their energetic battery during sexual activity.
Facts.
Therefore, their regulation at 28 days allows them to maintain the raw battery longer. This is one of the reasons why it's easier for them to get life insurance at a lower price than men.
Oh man.
Because they generally tend to live longer for this reason.
Yeah.
Their loss is regulated. Ours is not. But the downside of that is what? As Brother Billy Carson just said, the average male age 25 to 44 loses it 3 to 4 times a week.
That's if he's lucky.
That's if he's lucky. Oh man, what a fun, what a great conversation, y'all. Let me
Look, sex has been the fall of many a great men.
Yeah.
Facts.
Let me since we're talking about where we understand we're antennas, we understand that we could call it earth rovers. There's so many names. Bruce Lipton likes to say we are television sets. The body is a television set, and we are the TV program that's just being played through the television set. And when this TV dies, or when we don't need this TV no more, we're inhabit or reincarnate into another TV set and play a similar program or another program on that TV set. And it's interesting. One of the ways we use when we're in this realm to tap into higher frequencies is our thoughts, our feelings, and our words. I've heard from so many brothers and sisters in the spiritual community how spiritual the Hebrew language is. I always hear about the Hebrew language. It's a fire language. It's a star language. It's similar to the constellations in the sky. I hear all types of stuff about how spiritual the Hebrew language is. What I notice, what they do in Hebrew is that they read in reverse. They read from right to left. We go from left to right. They go from right to left. So this is the question I want to have. I did something and I want to get your opinion on it. We're scientists. We're exploring. We're learning. We're not just studying. We're learning on the spot. So check this out. I hope y'all can hear this. This is a recording. Okay. I bought it, but by the way, I bought this gift. This gift I bought for my subconscious mind, my higher self. It's a high quality tape recorder that I use on a consistent basis to reprogram my mind. But I invested in my higher self, and I said the same way a person would invest in a car. I said, baby, I'm gonna invest this. The subconscious is a female. I said, baby, I'm gonna invest in you and get an expensive tape recorder, baby. She said, "Thank you, Daddy." But anyway, but moving on. Listen, so check this out. Let me play this for you on the tape recorder. Then I'm gonna make a point. So check what I put on the tape recorder.
Richard Merritt, Billy Carson, Rod Hayes.
Can y'all hear that?
Sharif Bey and BDell are going to have a magnificent show tonight, and we will make history.
Did y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Carson,
Let me turn it.
Rod
Let me play it
Hayes, Sharif Bey, and BDell are going to have a magnificent show tonight, and we will make history.
Okay, so now I'm gonna play it. Since in Hebrew they go from right to left, let me play it in reverse and see how you sound.
Richard Merritt.
Oh, hold up.
Here I am, Mr. Here is a movie went. Yeah, no sniffing Gamma. What even here, virus? See it out. This all here I am, Mr. Here
Play it
is
again.
a movie went. Yeah, no sniffing Gamma. What even here, virus? See it out. This all here.
Okay, so I went for this is interesting. I played it from left to right. I played it forward, then I played it in reverse. You could read something forward, you could read it in reverse.
Yes.
What's your thoughts? Because this whole thing about clockwise, counterclockwise. I notice when I meditate, I walk counterclockwise in a circle. I'm hearing about the Hebrews, they read from right to left. We read in Western world from left to right. What's your thoughts? Is there any steady research? Because when we growing up, we always heard, "Oh, if you play something in reverse, that's the devil." And you know what? When they say something is the devil, it's usually a trick bag. They're usually trying to trick us. So, is there anything? And I know Sharif has been a part of certain societies. Billy's well versed, Rod's well versed, BDell's well versed. Anything have you heard? Being that I brought up the Hebrew language and them reading from right to left, the opposite in reverse of how we do it. What's your thoughts, spiritually, metaphysically, esoterically speaking, on listening to an affirmation from instead of forward, listening to it in reverse, like I just played?
The
I got a
subconscious.
lot to say, but I'm gonna let everybody else talk.
I'm glad y'all excited about this one. I'm glad. Yeah.
So the subconscious mind can tell the difference, no matter whether it's forward or backwards. The subconscious can translate it. First and foremost, the left to right reading is separated by the prime meridian. If you go from the prime meridian east, you're going to be reading from left to right. When you come back west, you're going to be reading right to left. That's was done by some priesthood in the past. All of the letters in any language that you read it in is alchemically charged with a number, a color, and a weight. So every word has a color assigned to it, a number assigned to it, and a weight assigned to it. Even the letters have their own color, number, and weight. And when you add them together, it's the same as mixing colors to paint a picture. So the subconscious mind knows when English is in reverse or when it's in the traditional standards of English. The subconscious mind is much smarter than the conscious mind. The conscious mind always going to have to defer to the subconscious when confusion arises for clarification.
Okay.
Well, my perception on that is that when you understand the dialect continuum, the European Albion dialect is actually acidic to the body, so it's electrical. So the great majority of ancient Hebrew, ancient Moabite, all those types of languages are basically is a form of magnetism because it contains a certain octave vibration to where you're able to stream in certain intelligence. So that's why, it's imperative to tap into those old tonal languages because that's where you tap into your magic or your magnetism. So that's just my perception on that when it comes from, the different differentiation between different languages and things of that nature.
Excellent. Billy and Sharif, you want to add on to that?
Yeah. So, anytime you're reading one of these Semitic tongues, one of these Semitic languages, you're speaking with more power. And you're also tapping into the opposite hemisphere of the brain. And so, English is one of the weakest languages and it still has power. Don't get me wrong. It still has power over the ether of space-time. But the reason why English is a global language is because it's one of the weakest languages, Semitically. And these other languages, like these Semitic languages, like Hebrew, for example, is extremely powerful. So it's extremely powerful language that taps into another quadrant of the brain, and by going from right to left. And also, it's because it's an older language, closer to some of the more original tongues, it has far more power. Each letter has power. Each syllable has power, far more power than the English language, which is why I believe that the elites have allowed English to become the global dominating language and not Hebrew, because Hebrew does have much more power than the English language itself.
That also applies to Latin and Sanskrit as well.
True. Facts.
Right. So, wow, this is the question, brother. I love this question. It's powerful. I give honor again to what everybody has said. Brother Billy Carson, are you familiar with a scientist by the name? I know you know who Russell Targ is, and I know you know who Hal Puthoff is.
Yeah.
Hal is a good friend of mine. We talk
Really?
a lot.
Oh, wow.
Yes, sir. And
wow.
So Hal, you know, of course, in their Gateway project that was CIA funded, that's now declassified, they speak to what I'm about to say. In our tradition, we say perception is power, and that the outside world is nothing more than the inner perception unfolding. That being said, right, we know that right brain is intuition, left brain is intellect, right? And properly utilized, the intellect's purpose is to interpret intuition, not to replace it. That being said, perception can be modulated, expanded, or shrunk. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that our people were put to sleep, meaning our consciousness was shrunk. English does that because we go from left to right.
Facts.
Okay, now, we, as you already know, we're all about process, okay? That sounds great. How can we do it? There's a reason why our brothers in the lodge circumambulate in a counterclockwise direction. That is the same reason why the Aramaic languages, Hebrew, Akkadian, Arabic, go from right to left, because you're actually physically and visually practicing going from intuition to intellect.
Facts.
What a way to end that question. Y'all heard? Did y'all hear the well-rounded? Do y'all listen? Oh my God. This is why we don't need to beef with each other, y'all.
Correct.
Because we all bring a piece to the table that's unique, that nobody else could bring. I may bring the questions. I'm asking them about blinking and your tongue out and all types of shit. These brothers are bringing different aspects, different formulas, because they have unique experiences in this realm that nobody could copy. So I love it. This is such a learning experience, y'all. Such a learn. This is awesome. They're like, this is very powerful, awesome, unique, a well-rounded group of brothers. I'm absolutely loving this. Let's keep it moving. Do your brothers got about 30 more minutes? What do y'all have about?
Sure,
I'm good.
I got 30 more for sure. You know me, bro. I'm like a ping pong ball. I'm popping all over the country.
Yeah, I know. Billy's here, there. I know that. Yeah. So let's do about because I'm gonna ask a couple of more questions, and then I'm gonna get about 2 questions from the chat, and that'll fill up 30 minutes. But I don't want to keep y'all too long. But wow, I mean, this is amazing. This is what it's all about. Once again, if you just joined, family, the link for the live stream of Gathering the Masters is in the chat. This is just a sample of what unity looks like when it comes to consciousness. Gathering the Masters happened in August 10th and 11th. It's already sold out, but we have the live stream available. You can click the link in the chat, and it's also pinned at the top of the chat if you would like to participate in the Gathering of the Masters. Wow. So with that being said, wow, that was amazing. With that being said, let's do, since we're having fun, let's have a little fun real quick. Let's have a little fun because we're having fun, right? Let's have a little fun. It's not just about being strict and rigid and going to the plan and this and that. I want to and it's about experimenting and tapping into your powers, and we don't do that enough. I'm gonna send out a number. I did this before. I'm gonna send out a number to y'all from 1 to 10, and I would love to hear the BDell's, Billy's, Rod Hayes, and Sharif answer, and I'm gonna write it down. This is a test I always do. I don't always do it, but I do it sometimes, and it's fun. It's fun because it's a way for us to. We don't get enough practice. We read, but we don't do enough practice about with our telepathy skills, with our intuition skills, with our with our ESP, extrasensory perception skills. So this is a way for us to practice and to make practice cool. We have to make practicing these skills cool. So I'm gonna write a number down. The numbers from 1 to 10. I'm gonna write it down, and then I'm gonna circle it. Because I could do magic. I'm gonna circle it.
We did this. We did this before.
I did this with Ryan. Yeah, I did this before.
I did it with the colors, though. I think.
Yeah, I did it with Billy or something. I did it with. I do this because this is fun to me. I love it, and this is what we need to make this shit fun. This is how we gonna do it. So I wrote down a number, y'all, from 1 to 10. I would love to hear, and I didn't even project the number. Wait, y'all, they telling me the number. See that y'all gotta be patient. Let me project the number. Okay, I wrote it. Let me project the number. Let me put my. Right. I projected a number out, right? I want to know what's the answer of all of y'all. Starting with we're gonna go in order. BDell, Billy, Rod, and Sharif. BDell, you first. What's your answer?
7.
Okay. Billy, what's your answer? It could be the same answer. Don't. Okay, Billy's 4. Rod, what's your answer? It could be the same or different. Don't.
I picked up 2 different numbers, but the first one I picked up was 5.
And what's the second one, Rod?
9.
Sharif.
8.
8. Okay. Let me write your names next to the numbers. All right. So the number that I wrote, y'all, let me put it on a big screen so y'all can see it. The number I wrote was 7.
Nice.
BDell said 7.
Wow.
Billy said 4.
Okay.
Rod Hayes said 5 and 9. Sharif said 8. So shout out to the brother BDell.
Salute.
So this shit is so fun. This shit is so fun, y'all. You're like, this is what it's about, y'all. We're practicing it.
Correct.
We're practicing it. We're not just talk. We talk a lot about the ancient practices, but it's like imagine if you want to be imagine if my son wants to be a great basketball player, right? My son is 5 right now, and my son just talks about it. He talks and he studies it. And he's reading a book, and he's like, "Dad, in 1988, Larry Bird. In 1990, Magic Johnson. In 1993, Michael Jordan and the Phoenix Suns. Eventually, I'm gonna say, son, you got to get on the court and practice. So this is what we call practice, family. This is what we're gonna do at the Gathering of the Masses. We're gonna establish something. We're gonna establish an order where we practice. We're establishing an order at the Gathering of the Masses where we practice, not just study. It has to go beyond studying. And this is what brother Sharif talks about constantly. Shout out to BDell. BDell, what that brother?
Hey, look, show those numbers again. I want to point something out to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so you picked the number 7, right? Billy picked the number 4. That's the forbidden knowledge number, right? So in Billy's was already pre-saturated with the number 4.
Facts.
Now, I picked up 2 numbers. If you look at the 2 numbers I picked up in the median, that means I'm drawing from intellect and intuition is clashing, and they meet in the middle.
At 7.
Right? So when Sharif get it, what do he say? It's infinity. The 8 is the infinity on standing up. He's saying that the number is going to always recycle back to itself. So even though in the accuracy of the perception fall with BDell, all of the numbers come back to tell us a story that's different on the panel.
You know, we have a saying you know, in our religious tradition, we say that there are no happenings, law governs all events. So there's no such thing as coincidence. If Brother BDell got it right, that means he got it right.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But the additional sciences that's coming when you put groups of people together is the perception. This just to show you everybody is looking from a different part of the circle to the center. They're not going to all see the thing in the center the same.
Well, here's the other part too. Listen, I can play basketball all right, but I bet I'm not as good as Brother Rich. I have to do this. Brother Rich got that. We can all improve our game. Some are more natural at certain things than others, and that's just what it is. And we have to honor that.
Indeed. All right. Let me let's say we're talking about frequencies, and we think about frequency. Let's think about frequencies like, let's say, like happiness, peace of mind, wealth, love in a relationship. And we are being that. And I heard somebody early in the comments, they was like, I thought this was about aliens. It's called alien frequencies. We're picking on frequencies that are non-local to the avatar. Outside. Alien means foreign. Like they say, illegal alien coming to this country. He's not of this country. These are frequencies that are I guess you would say outside of the avatar. These are hyperdimensional, multi-dimensional frequencies that our brain, this the most magnificent instrument technology in the world, is picking up on. We sleep on who we are in our technology, between the blinking, the smelling, the hearing, the tasting, the touching, our hear. There's so many aspects to our technology that we sleep on. And that's the point of the show is to show how important our technology. Like I said, this is really a part 2 to Earth Rover that Billy and Rod Hayes did. But speaking of what I was saying, and damn, I don't forgot what I was saying. Okay, and frequency and the frequencies. Say, because we use mythology and we describe certain cosmology, and we use human characteristics to describe them. So let's say the emotion, peace of mind, we described it as a person, and we called it Pacero. Peace of mind, the emotion of peace of mind, which everybody wants, we called it Pacero. Now, do these frequencies that we want to experience in this realm, because we channel these frequencies and we display it. The screen is life. The movie, we know the movie theater, we know on the movie screen, we know that the movie's not in the movie screen. We know that it's being projected. We know that the television show is not in the television. We know it's projected. We know that the app is not in the is not on the phone. It's being projected into the phone. So we know that the body, what we're seeing, we want to understand that it's not us, it's being projected from our eyes onto the screen we call life. So what I want to ask is, if we're projecting these emotions called peace of mind, and that could come in many different ways, do emotions act like humans in the sense that if Rod Hayes does some grimy-ish to me, I may say, nah, I'm not messing with him no more because he did so-and-so with so-and-so. Well, if peace of mind knows that you are a shady individual, but you want peace of mind, will peace of mind not inhabit your avatar and display on your screen because it knows you're unloyal? The same way we know individuals is unloyal and we don't mess with them, does the emotion, the frequency of peace of mind know that we will be unloyal to it, so it won't marry us and become one with us?
Your emotions is your navigation system of the earth realm. You use your emotions like peace of mind to determine the people that upset your peace of mind are the people that's belligerent to the self. So the spirit of man is projected, has been proven already with epigenetics. The perception that we have is that we the body, but the perception is an illusion because we project it into the body in the membranes of the cell are the collective antenna units that come together to allow us to tune in to the frequency that becomes the I am aspect of the self. Right. So if you're not in harmony with peace of mind as your as a default emotion, it won't be a default. It will come in only after you overcome your already set defaults. That's why they traumatize children, to keep them from finding that peace of mind, because in that peaceful place, you are experiencing the frequency of your God self. Right. So when we talk about peace of mind or peace in general, we ain't talking about an external phenomenon. We talking about ability to be able to determine if the emotions is in context and adjust our actions and our behavior according to the navigation system that's telling you that sucker no good. I'm avoiding him at all costs. You're not avoiding him because you're scared of him. You're not avoiding him because of any other thing, but he upsets your peace. Mm-hmm. So when he upsets your peace and that's your default, then you can't within yourself feel comfortable associating with the things that upset your peace. Right. And this is why when you go into your creative aspect, it tells you to go into the dark place. That's mimicking the prime creator at the prime of creation. Right. But your emotions get in the way a lot of time. And we don't know if they in context or not, because nobody teaches us how to read our own emotions as a navigation system.
Got you.
Yeah, facts. I think, I kind of touched on this a little bit in my book, Fractal Holographic Universe. I think Rod Hayes hit it on the head in terms of we're being projected into this reality, just like you said also, Rich, that our higher self is in a much higher dimension with source. And the human brain itself does not create consciousness. It downloads a stream of consciousness. And so without that download into the avatar body, the avatar would be just limp. We are inhabiting this body temporally that means time, on a timeline, a temporal. In the third density, we have this temporal emote that we have that inhabits this avatar body and animates it for the purpose of navigating through this third dimensional hologram. And so along with that comes the emotions. And if we didn't have that capability, it would be just like the movie Avatar, where you see the bodies just laying in those gigantic little aquariums, floating around, waiting for the light to come inside, waiting for a projection of consciousness to inhabit it so that it can maneuver through the dimension. And so what it seems like to me is, from a higher perspective, as if the universal consciousness itself has divided itself into Googles and Googles of entities. Yes, Google is an actual number throughout the entire known universe, so that it can experience itself subjectively through Rod Hayes, through Brother Sharif, through BDell, through myself, through you, Rich, and everyone else that's on this live, and everyone else throughout the entire known universe. It wants to experience itself subjectively, and it wants to experience every emotion for it and against it. Why? Because it's a learning program. We're living inside of a learning program that's learning about itself, learning what it's like to see through my eyes, your eyes, and everyone else's eyes in this dimension. We're being broadcast from one radio station, like this one radio station in your city, and it's sending out frequencies. That frequency has a point number, 99.1, 99.2, 0.3, 0.4. That dot and that number is your avatar body's ability to pick up that specific, slightly off frequency, but they're still coming from the same source. Correct. And then what does this program do? What is the agenda? What's the mission? To collect data. And to collect data based on interactions between all of the different entities that are really interacting with itself to see and experience life subjectively through everything that actually exists and learning from that. And I think through that process, it learns that the ultimate goal, the ultimate thing that it wants in this third dimension is to manifest love and peace throughout the known universe. And how long will it take for that culmination to actually happen? That's what I see.
Indeed. Anybody want to? Did everybody touch on that? Is we good on that?
I want to go ahead, Brother BDell.
Okay. Well, within the framework of your spiritual journey, you got to go through a process of self-realization as you're going from neophyte, adept to mastery. You become a master by way of equilibrium, meaning that you're balanced. So if you're energetically balanced, that is the epitome of the God frequency, to where you're able to detach from the demiurge. So the demiurge is basically comprised of the energy extraction matrix. So in order to pull away from that energy, like I said, you got to be in alignment. So a lot of times, a lot of people, they fall victim to the demiurge because they have an emotional connection. Just like Rod Hayes said, you got to use your emotions as a navigation system, as an alchemical source. So what happens is a lot of times people, your emotions is basically connected to the gematria body. The gematria body, you got 5 different phases of the body. You got the gematria body, the epikinetic body, the Eka body, the Zohar body, which is basically your higher self. So when you're able to reach your higher self, you're basically able to manipulate timelines. So when you're able to manipulate timelines, that's when you're able to be the epitome of a walking and talking CERN machine, meaning that you're able to collapse time by mastering yourself by way of detachment. So just like a CERN machine has, the CERN machine has quarks and leptons. Leptons are basically electrons. You got quarks and which is comprised of protons and neutrons. That is basically the epitome of the carbon body. So like I said, when you're able to master yourself, you're able to detach from this reality by way of your emotions.
Excellent.
I love what the brother just said, but I wanted to key in on something that Billy Carson said, what Billy Carson was saying about being projected into 3D space-time. Right? There's first and foremost, like we in my religious tradition, we say it this way, just in religious terms. Why did creative fate give to man, spirit man, a body of soul to function on the plane of soul?
Sharif, what is your religious tradition, Sharif? But for the people who don't know,
of America Incorporated. Okay. I'm the national press secretary for the organization under the leadership of Brother R. Jones Bay and his assistant Brother A. Hopkins Bay. So we say those exact same things of what Billy Carson said in religious terms. Why did creative fate give the soul a body of flesh to function on the plane of things made manifest? Now, there's actual hard science that speaks to this. If you look up David Bohm, right? These are 3 quantum mechanics that are favorites of mine. David Bohm, Rupert Sheldrake, and our Chinese sister, Mei-Wan Ho, right? David Bohm calls this space, or this exotic space that we are projected from, he calls it the implicate order. Rupert Sheldrake calls it the morphogenic field. Now, Mei-Wan Ho is special because she's a quantum physicist biologist. So she's talking about quantum mechanics and phenomena in living systems. And so she calls it the biogenic field. So rather than what they all 3 agree on is this: the classic understanding of how information and even intelligence is transduced is through DNA. No, they say no. Because think about it. When we're talking about, let's say, body repair and the ability to repair, the body, right? The body to repair itself, we'll say, yeah, it gets its information from the DNA. Oftentimes, the DNA repairs itself. How does it do that? Where does it get its information from? So this speaks to what Brother Billy Carson was just saying about having a self in higher exotic space, right? Now, that the interface, the actual interface, there's also hard science for that as well. We call it the borderland between the plane of soul and the plane of things made manifest. But in science and quantum mechanics, it's called the Compton radius vortex. It is the smallest substance that can carry mass in 3 dimensions, but it's a vortex. It's actually, what would be called a Bose-Einstein condensate, a miniature wormhole. And that exists in the human. 5% of dry weight brain matter is this. And also, Mei-Wan Ho discovered it's in abundance in the body in a gel sol state. What is gel sol? Binary code, the literal matrix, right? A gel sol state in the connective tissue highway.
Yeah. Facts. Absolutely.
So that being said, I just wanted to close it with this. consciousness is transduced in this way from the higher dimensions down to 3D for 3D use.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, man. Wow. Man. Wow, y'all. Oh man. And I want to before we get to the next question, we got about 15 minutes left. Oh, I want to give a shout out to King Simon. King Simon's in the chat, and King Simon is sharing a link to the Forbidden Knowledge Awards. So that's going out. August is popping. August is popping,
Yeah.
y'all. August is popping. You got the Lionsgate in August. You got the Forbidden Knowledge Awards. You got the Gathered in the Masses. August is pop. You got Michael Jackson's birthday in August. You know what I'm saying? You got MJ. You know what I'm saying? Can't leave MJ out. Ever leave MJ out the equation, but. Yeah. August is popping, and that's the start of Virgo season. And I'm a Virgo. Billy's a Virgo. It's the start of Virgo season, the end of August. So always love when August comes around, and it's a beautiful thing. So family, make sure y'all check out that.
You just said that because your birthday come up after that.
Huh? What you said, Rob? What you said?
I said you just said that because you could see your birthday clearly.
You got it. You got it. Oh man, let me ask y'all this, man. What a good time we having. What a good time we having. And like I said, that's the most important thing about this information is enjoying yourself, being childlike with this information. We hear all this new age talk, y'all. We all seen the documentary The Secret. We all seen the documentary What the Bleep Do You Know, as well as so many other documentaries. But those two documentaries really set it off when it came to the law of attraction and laws of the hermetic laws of the universe. Those two documentaries really popularized it in this culture. We always hear people say that people you meet are a reflection. We always hear this term reflection. Everybody you meet is a mirror image. They're a reflection of who you are. Everybody you meet is a mirror image, a reflection, a mirror. We constantly hear that, right? But what I'm thinking, I'm a Virgo, so I'm over analytical. I'm analyzing, I'm studying, I'm observing. And what I'm saying is the people I meet that are extraordinary people, like let's say Rod Hayes. Rod Hayes doesn't meet 100 Rod Hayeses. Billy Carson doesn't meet 100 Billy Carsons. Billy Carson is an amazing individual, one of the most amazing individuals I know. BDell, one of the most amazing. If BDell stands out in the crowd in terms of outside of the intellect, just character. That dude got character. There's not a million. BDell doesn't meet a million BDells in his realm. Sharif, humble brother, brilliant, genius. I seen the brother. I said, "Oh shit, this brother belongs on this platform." What? Where the hell this brother? Like, are y'all crazy? Do y'all see what this brother possess? The point I'm trying to make is all the brilliance y'all possess. Y'all not me, according to this law of attraction, y'all not meeting 1,000 brothers or sisters that's like y'all. Y'all may meet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could count it on your hand. So if everybody's a mirror image, everybody's a reflection, why all of us are only meeting a handful of people that got the character, that got the traits, that got the love that we have?
Because we looking at ourselves in the carnival funny mirror house.
You gotta explain that one, Rod. Come on, Rod. Explain that. What the hell you mean, Rod? What you mean?
Look, you stand in one mirror. Look, you stand in one mirror. You a little short, fat, dumpy dwarf. You stand in another mirror. You a tall, skinny, anorexic giant. You looking at them from the different mirrors in the funny house, in the funny mirror room. You got all these different mirrors that project your image back to you in a different way. The hard part is to find yourself in other people so that you can see how to help them better discover who they are. That's why why you a mirror, so you can help them find themselves once you find yourself. As BDell say, your self-mastery will trigger the self-mastery in others.
Okay.
Yeah, powerful. Yeah, what I see, when you talk about this topic is the Mayans, the ancient Mayans, they had a saying called "In lakek alaken." That means I am another you.
Another you.
And so we're talking about the fact that, like Brother Rod said, we have a part of us in everyone, and there is only one. We appear to be separate in individuals, but separation is an illusion. Individuality is also an illusion. As a matter of fact, when I'm talking to y'all, I'm actually talking to myself. And when you're talking to me and everyone else on this live, you're all talking to yourself. There is only one. What's happened here is we've been given the illusion of separation and individuality so that the one can experience itself subjectively through this dimension. And every single one of us does have a part in another person. So I might meet a person that seems to be the complete polar opposite of me. But guess what? Certain aspects of their consciousness and their personality are inside of me. Even if I don't show it, even if I don't emote it, it's part of the shadow that's inside of me. Yes. And so I can meet someone that's just I may perceive them as an angry, crazy, mean psychopath. I have those aspects inside of myself as well. I've been able to oppress them or suppress them, right?
I thought you was remembering me, brother. Really?
No, Rod. So, but those are in there. So all the things that we have to do, that's why we have to do our shadow work so we can discover who we truly are on the inside. I think most people don't know who they are. Like I say all the time, when we're born, we're given a name, a race, and a religion, and we spend our whole life defending a false identity. A lot of us we can't recognize ourselves in somebody else because we don't even know who the hell we are. Who is Billy Carson? I don't know. That name was given to me. That's right. Why do I believe this and I believe that? Because somebody forced it down my throat from the time I was a baby all the way up. And now I'll defend that to the death in some cases, right? And this is what we see through religion and poly tricksters and everything else that's going on in this world. Anything that can become dogmatic propaganda, yes. We know that it is just forced on us and we carry it from generation to generation. When I meet somebody, my job is to try to find some sense of myself in them. And if I don't see it, my job then is to have empathy for that person. My job is to enact the empathy and actually begin to try to relate on a spiritual level and then see how I can spiritually affect that person, how I can on a frequency affect that person to get them to raise their vibration or see things a little bit differently. It's not to be combative. It's not to go head to head and battle all the time. Sometimes it's to be able to see like, wow, that's an aspect of me. And for me to be able to have empathy for that and realize that that person or that spirit energy that's inhabiting that avatar, this might be its first or second or third time here in this realm. Some people can be 60 and 70 years old and be brand new born babies in this dimension spiritually. And there could be people that could be 10, 15, 20, 30 years old that can be ancient. See? Mm-hmm. So you have to recognize that. And when you begin to see those different aspects, you got to believe that part of your spirit, that's part of your energy that's really still connected to you. It just arrived here. So you have the empathy. And so I'll see that person as a child, not in a disrespectful way, but that they're spiritually, they haven't matured yet. And that gives me the ability to see how I can help them, how I can, from a distance, bless them and wish them well, or how I may be able to try to even break through to them. You know what I mean?
Mm. What do y'all think about the culture? You know, culture, a lot of people feel as though culture is important, and I agree. Culture has this importance. In our culture, one thing that's stressed, especially in Black culture, is expressed to respect your elders. Yes. It's expressed to give honor, reverence, to listen to. You know, your elders have wisdom, they know what's best. Right? Everybody could agree on that. That's a big, especially in big. What I want to tell you, Brother Rich, you see where Brother Rich is at. I would have never gotten where I've gotten if I allowed the elders to gear me, to direct me. Elders have given me bad advice a lot of times. They have tried to redirect me a lot of times. They when I went in the metaphysical direction, they wanted me to go more in a Black power direction. When I did a lot of things that I did, a lot of elders, they tried to steer me in a different direction. And if I went according to culture, which some people will say is a cult, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. What I followed, there was like something in me, a stubbornness in me that didn't listen to the elder, but listened to that inner voice. And that inner voice is what's got me to where I'm at now, not listening to the elders completely. And I'm not saying all the way, because Professor James Small, he has given me an amazing advice, a lot of elders. But what I'm saying is that I had to go against the grain with the elders a lot of times to get where I'm at. So let's have a conversation about culture versus this radio signal that you get in, because I'm faithful, I'm passionate, I'm committed. You know how you faithful to your wife? I'm faithful to that radio signal. So let's talk about the radio signal versus culture, whether it's black culture, Chinese culture, white culture, Hispanic culture, whatever. There's a culture that we want to be a part of, and when we stick to it, and sometimes when we stick to it, we go against the downloads that we get, and we're outcasts. So let's have this conversation from people who feel as though they are not following who they want to be, or their soul contract, because they're following a particular culture. And let's also talk about the elders, important conversation about the elders, because like I said, I had to go against the grain with the elders a lot of times to get where I'm at right now.
A lot of times the elders be misled in their youth, and they never discover those anchors. I call them anchors that keep them misled as they grow older. So we don't look at all elders as elders the same. You got wise elders, and you got some elders that's some damn fools. You have to take into advisement the wisdom of the elder while you looking at the paradigm you facing, to determine if the information they're giving you is actually functional or not. Because a lot of times when we get trapped into certain paradigms, they are ego-driven paradigms of times gone by. So some of the elders is trapped in ego, just like a lot of the youth. The wise elders are the ones that did their shadow work. They know where they got tricked at, and they give you what's called right guidance. But the elders who just got old and ain't learned nothing, they call them old fools. It's the reason those terms exist. And as far as following the culture, you don't follow the culture, you read the culture. When I say read the culture, this is what I'm talking about. When I told you about the crip walking 2 years ago, everybody thought I was tripping.
Yes.
Right? Well, the whole thing is, it's a cultural phenomenon that is an expression of the DNA of the collective of any specific group. And it tells you where at on the planet you belong. It tells you where you came from on the planet, if you are import or if you're organic to any location on the planet. And it tells you where you need to be. When you coming up, Brother Rich, you didn't come up to follow the old ways. You came up to break paradigms. The same with me, the same with BDell, the same with Sharif, the same with Dr. Carson. We all came to break the old prison paradigm of mental enslavement by coming with knowledge that's exposed to the masses that was denied us. So we all had to go and do certain study in order. Now, while I'm reading the culture, I'm seeing what we need to know. So I'll know what to discuss when I'm on a platform like this. It don't mean that the culture is the only thing in your life that exists, because the culture is going to change. When the paradigm changes, the culture is going to change.
Right. Got you.
We are here, all of us on this panel, and it's a whole lot of them else out there. That's some of them are coming to your thing in August. Some will be at this thing with Billy Carson. We came to break the prison mindset paradigm that keep us trapped in the falsehood of the truth and falsehood strangely mixed paradigm. We've been living in the shadow of the truth, which been manifested as falsehood. So we have to break free from that. We have to be selective about which one of the elders that we listening to. Just because a person is older than you, don't even make them a righteous elder. That's critical to understand for the youth, because a lot of these old conditioned with the old system elders is in the way. And the youth not going to listen to them because they're not giving them anything that they can use to create their own from what they have within them. They trying to tell them, follow the old paradigm. Don't let nobody make you change the old paradigm, and we'll be all right. No, we won't. break the old paradigm, upset the peace, and establish some justice, Brother Sharif. You know what I'm talking about. So the youth is here to upset the peace. You here to upset the peace, to establish justice. We got to break the prison paradigm. And the prison paradigm is the triangulation of the divide and conquer mechanisms that they've been used as social engineering programs to keep us fighting each other so we won't never overthrow the tyranny of the beast that's sitting on our neck. I don't want to overthrow the brother that's got the same boot on his neck that I got on mine. I want to throw the one that's wearing the boot off both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
So just because they are elder, don't make them a wise elder. It's a difference. Just because they older than you, don't make them your elder. You, Brother Rich, is a lot of people that's older than you elder because they look up to you for guidance and direction based on your platform. You bring people to them that offer stuff that can allow them to uplift themselves so they don't have to rely on nobody else. That's teaching them to fish instead of just throwing the fish on their plate saying eat.
Right. Facts. Facts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Rod just said a mouthful, man. Really, Yeah. And I'm glad I'm one of these people that I never took the programming code. Fortunately for me, growing up in New York, born in the 1970s. 1971 to be exact, and growing up in Queens, New York, in Cambria Heights. At that time, Cambria Heights was a mixed neighborhood.
Right.
And also, not only was that a mixed neighborhood, but my family being part Caribbean and part Puerto Rican, and then also my aunt marrying an actor from Europe that was white. And so I'm in a smorgasbord in New York. I'm around Spanish, Black, Caribbean, Black, white. I'm around Asians. I got everybody there. And so from the age of 1 to 7, or just before 6, really, just before I turned 7, this was my upbringing. What is the most crucial time for a youth? For them to learn and absorb information like a sponge from the age of 1 to 7. So from the age of 1 to 6, this was my surrounding. This is what I absorbed. And everyone had fun and loved each other. And there was no strife and everybody got along and we played with everybody. And then I came from there straight to Miami, Florida, right to the hood in Opelika. We left my grandmother's house and my parents decided they want to spring off on their own. We end up right in the heart of the ghetto in Opelika down in Miami, Florida, where everything was predominantly Black. Not a problem, but I was able to see the difference between two styles of living, right? So I had the understanding of this multicultural lifestyle, and now I'm in this all Black lifestyle, 2 different lifestyles. So I have 2 different perspectives on reality, my reality. And that first 6 years is really encoded into my body. I never developed any level of racism, hate, or anything like that. Even though I was thrown into the ghetto and was extremely impoverished, I never took the victim mentality. I never blamed the man for all of my downfallings and we ain't got this and we ain't got that. I took the PTG instead of PTSD. Instead of PTSD, I developed post-traumatic growth, PTG. And I was able to foresee like, hey, I'm going to get out of this situation. And so I took that whole mindset into my entire life. And I think everyone needs to do that. Get out of the victimhood mindset. Get out of the PTSD mindset. Stop blaming everything and forget about what all these old elders are always telling you. Some of it's good, but you have to have discernment. Like Rod Hayes was saying, you have to have some discernment. Take what's good and take what's not good, what's not serving your higher self, and discard it. I do that with all information. Look, I'm not a Christian, but I read the biblical text. Right. There's some good information in there that I can actually apply to my life. I ain't stupid. But there's some stuff in there that's garbage, and I discard the garbage and put it out with the trash. You know what I'm saying? Right. I use discernment in everything that I do, and understanding that, wow, all information isn't good information, but there are some good pieces you can take out. There could be a man that could be a brutal ruler, but he might make a good quote. If that quote can be applied and actually have a benefit to you, you should probably follow whatever that quote was, right? And discard the rest as trash. So you have to have a certain level of discernment and understand. And following the culture all the time can lead you to, down a dark rabbit hole. I believe in the culture of humanity as a whole. I always had that vision from the time I was young. I always saw relating to every single person on this planet, no matter what race, creed, or color. And you can, let me make this statement. You can fight racism without becoming a racist. Absolutely. Some people got it twisted all around. They think they can't fight racism without becoming a racist, or what happens is they think that they're fighting racism, but don't realize they became a racist themselves. They became exactly what they've been running from. And so we have to have a certain level of understanding about ourselves, who we are, and how we're letting darkness creep in and take over ourselves. Absolutely. And so I fight racism without becoming a racist, and I can relate to every single race, creed, and color on the entire planet, which is why I got over 8 million people following my accounts across all my platforms. Why? Because I can relate to everyone. I can get to everyone on everyone's level. I can speak whatever language they speak in terms of where they are consciously, and they can understand me and I can understand them. We have an understanding. And I think that it's important that what you've done, Rich, is follow your heart, follow your higher self, instead of listening to all the outside chatter. Because if you would have listened to all the outside chatter, you and I wouldn't have done a lot of business together. And I guarantee you one thing, Brother Rich ain't never been paid a penny short and never been paid a day late. And that's a fact. See, but the outside sources, they'll chip away at you, and they'll rob you of your own blessings. Same thing with relationships. You got to date this one. You can't marry that one. You can't be with this one because she ain't this and she ain't that. Right. I didn't listen to all that foolishness. I done had every race on the damn planet. Every race. Just probably only 2 races I ain't had yet. And if I would have listened to that blindfold mindset, I would have met my wife that I have right now. And people want to talk a lot of crap, but not only does this woman support me, take care of me, but also this woman done bought me over $3 million in business in the last 3.5 years. How many people can say that their woman went out there and brought them $3.5 million? It ain't all about the money, but it's about the dedication, and it's about her respect and her honor towards me to say, hey, I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna help you build something with you, not around you, not behind you, not build my thing on the side, not beg you to give me this and beg you to give me that, but to actually come in full partnership. See, but if I would have had those blindfolds on and worrying about the culture, I would have also lost that blessing as well.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well said.
Yeah, BDell, Sharif, you want to close that one out?
Yeah, well, as a young man living within this energy extraction matrix, one thing I did notice about, as a young guy and being able to connect with, many different people, ages and, and things of that nature. One thing that I do notice about, within, the whole framework of, getting edification from certain people, I'm not able to connect with certain elders. That's because, like I said, I use my own discernment to the point where I understand that, we living in a simulation that there's, 5,000 NPCs to one source player. So everybody don't reap the benefits of authenticity. So when I speak to certain people, just like Billy Carson said, some people might be, 50, 60 years old, 80 years old, but they energetically and soulfully, they might be 15 years old, so when it comes to discernment, a lot of times, like I said, that's why you're able to tap into your own authenticity and able to galvanize an audience amongst many different demographics because you wasn't closed-minded enough to where you didn't block your own blessings.
Can I speak to it real brief?
Yeah, close that out. Close that one out.
This is a beautiful conversation from my personal perspective and the perspective that it's influenced me, right? As it relates to elders and these types of things and the culture piece. Culture is a social algorithm, number one. Number two, we are not the algorithm. We use the algorithm.
Facts.
Number three, many of us, including some of these elders, are stuck to the algorithm to where they think they're the algorithm. See what I'm saying?
I like that one. Yeah.
That being said, even going on doing the Maverick thing, I'm gonna go my own way. That's an algorithm.
Right.
You are establishing a culture, or you are re-inhabiting an old one, or re-inhabiting an unused one. It's just new to others because they're not familiar with it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Along with science.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
This is it's called in the mainstream new age, but we all know it's not new at all.
No, it's ancient.
It's ancient. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can't break old paradigms with old information that's no longer functional in the new paradigm. It's just not gonna happen, right? And your higher self, your higher self reading your book of life to you when they tell you to ignore one person and to listen to another. He's reading it to you. In your book of life, you said if you bump into so and so, go the other way. So when you bump into so and so, you don't even recognize them with the naked eye because you saturated by the physical environment. But your higher self gonna send you all kind of alarms to tell you go the other way. He ain't the one. He finna give you some Mr. Smith effect information, right? Everybody's scared to break the paradigms of the racism, the sexism, the gender confusion. Nobody want to break those paradigms. They became sacred cows and they don't serve anybody anything anymore.
Like
We
that.
get rid of that. Throw it away. Don't throw the baby out with the bath water, but that bath water dirty now. Dry the baby off and throw that stinky shit out the window. And it might land on somebody else that need a bath.
Oh shit. Oh man. Hey, listen, I want to thank y'all brothers for coming on here tonight. Absolutely magnificent broadcast. Had an amazing time. I mean, it feels so good to learn and to have a good time at the same time. And these scientific conversations should become more common. Just like, you're in a barbershop and we talk about sports. I would love to have scientific, metaphysical conversations in the barbershops, just like we do with sports and Kobe Bryant and LeBron and the Lakers and Bronny James. And that's cool. They're great. But I would love to have these type of spiritual, metaphysical, scientific conversations in there as well and make it a part of our culture that we are talking about. So with that being said, it used to be, right? For real.
It used to be. That's where you used to go. We didn't go to church. We went to the bonfire to hear the older elders that was wise in the knowledge tell us the grid stories.
Yeah.
We went to the barber shop before we went into town to get cleaned up. And the older elders told us if we got newcomers on the land, what to look for, what to look out for, everything. All of that used to be information at the barbershop. That's why the barbershop is a critical staple to the community. Everybody came from out of town. The first question was, where's the barbershop? Where's the beauty shop? Right? Because you need to know the lay of the land. That's where the check-in chief used to be at the barbershop. Well, what you need a check-in chief for? The check-in chief was to make sure that no innocent blood is spilt on the land when you're there, because if they don't know who you is, you might be food for wolves. But if they know you there, because you done went to the barbershop and got trimmed up and told them you're going to be in town for a week, they going to give you the VIP treatment. It ain't got nothing to do with paying nobody no money. It just got something to alert the local clan that you on their territory. But all of this stuff has been convoluted through this new system that undermined the old ways that was working for us with some stuff that serves somebody's interests other than our own. And we have to break those paradigms. That fall on us. We the elders now. We the ones got to break that paradigm. We the ones got to tell the youth to be an independent thinker, to think like an entrepreneur and not like a worker. That's our job now. Our job is to tell people it ain't about the people that look different. It's about the people that's going to ride with you through thick and thin, through high and low. When no matter what storm comes, you want the person going to weather the storm with you, not the one going to leave you alone in the storm. This is where the problem come at. We all want to be together during the sunshine, but when the storm comes, wondering why we alone, because we put our faith and our trust in people who don't care nothing about us, and they trying to tell us how to live our life according to their paradigm when they didn't proven beyond a shadow of a doubt they have no care for what happens to us. They will fricassee us, they'll fry us, they'll deep fry us, they'll turn us into strange fruit, have us dangling from trees, and then all the time we the ones got to break those paradigms as we gonna arise at a different time in order to fulfill the function of somebody breaking through to somebody else. That's it.
Facts.
Excellent. Hey, leave your because the people don't ask how to support you. I know Billy got the awards. Some of you got websites, cash apps. I want the people to know how they can support all of y'all. Let me just answer this question real quick. For those who are interested in the live stream, some of y'all asking, is the live stream link for both days? Yes, it is for both days. The live stream link that I provided, it is access to both days. It's an amazing price. That's why you're asking, hey, is this for both days? Yes, it is for both days. It's for both days. You click on that link. On Eventbrite, you purchase it, you got access to both days, lifetime access, lifetime entry to watch and view that program whenever you want. And with that being said, I want each of you to tell the people how they can contact you, support you, or whatever.
Okay. Well, of course, Billy Carson, Forbidden Knowledge. We do have the second annual Forbidden Knowledge Conscious Awards coming up in Miami, Florida. It's a 2-day event. We have a speaking conference on Saturday, August the 3rd. All day, we got Robert Edward Grant, Macabre 13, of course, myself, Billy Carson, and Elizabeth Carson with a women's panel. It's going to be an incredible day. And that evening, we have a VIP yacht party, sailing out and having a nice dinner on a super yacht. And so it's going to be great. The next day is the actual award show. So if you click the link that King Simon's been dropping and you get tickets to the award show, you'll be allowed access to the conference for free. Okay, you just show up with your receipt that you paid for the ticket to the awards. You can come on Saturday morning, and you can attend the entire conference at no cost.
Beautiful.
You can. My platform is BDell1014 on YouTube and Instagram, and you can also contact me at Facebook at Bridal Rice Bay.
Got you.
So-
Rod, tell people, yeah.
Yeah, y'all can find me on Instagram at The Sick Ape and under Rod Hayes on Facebook. Otherwise, you catch me here with Brother Rich, or you can catch me at The Young Elder.
Beautiful. Of course, you can find me on Facebook, Sharif Anail Bay, on TikTok, Sifu Sharif, and also on Instagram, Sharif Bay, and on the community that our good brother Rich has started on Discord. You can find me there.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. I forgot. Everybody who gets the live stream, y'all have access to this. Yo, I got this amazing. This make me. I need to start my own social media. Because this Discord community I got is popping, y'all. Rod, I got. Oh no, Rod said Rod don't do Discord yet. I talked to Rod about that. Yo,
You know
Rod,
who put me on Discord? Dan Calloway. Yeah, he put me on Discord because I had to do a live with him. I ain't want to do it, but I did it because I had been working on doing a live with that brother for about 4 years.
So you on Discord now?
Yeah.
Rod, I gotta send you this link. We got the Gathering of the Masses Discord. Rod, when I say it's popping, I mean it is popping because it's a centralized group. You don't have the distractions of social media and the thousands of trolls that just need attention. Everybody that's in this group, they got skin in the game. They looking to better themselves. So it's like everybody got a purpose in there, and it's just all positive energy, bro. So Sharif been in there holding it down. Q Reeves, shout out to Q Reeves, that's been in there. King Simon's been in there, but the family. Thousands of people are in this Discord, and it is popping like it's Instagram. Like, listen, y'all, I done started something. So, Ron, I'm gonna send you that, but this just gives me ideas for the future. I see how y'all are receptive to what I'm throwing out there, and I appreciate it. With that being said, y'all, I want to thank Billy Carson, BDell, Rod Hayes, Sharif Bay. Like I said, we just entered July. You know, July 4th, these holidays have some serious alignments with the Sirius star system. So there's some important things going on internally within us, as they say, as above, so below. August is popping. We got the Lionsgate. We got the Forbidden Knowledge Awards. We got the Gathering of the Masters. And they say September, as Aquarius says, is harvest time. And I think what's the brother name? Huna talks about September as well. September is a very important month. Very, very important month. Very important month spiritually for us. But the rest of this year is just popping. Let me just say this. The rest of the year is on and popping. And we got to tap into that frequency, family. Sharif, BDell, Rod Hayes, Billy Carson, family. We still got over 3,000 people in the chat. I want to thank all of y'all for joining us and tuning in with us for about 2 hours. With that being said, We signing out. I'm gonna be back tomorrow with Professor Griff from Public Enemy. So tune in tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Professor Griff from Public Enemy. But with that being said, thank you so much. Appreciate all y'all.
Peace.
Sign out.
Honored to
Peace,
be
family.
on with you all.
Peace,
Yes.
peace.
Peace, family. All right.
Peace.